Recording in progress. We are here, Vilagovinda Ashram, early in the morning, and it's been raining outside, so I don't know what happened to our blue sky. But dear devotees, let's begin with some auspicious invocation. Here's Leelamoy Prabhu, our host. Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Teje Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. All right, so dear devotees, happy to see Maheshwari Devidasi, and we'll be happy to see her here in person after a very short time. Looking forward to your arrival. And to all of you, yes, Aparajit Devidasi turned on her camera so we can see her. And today Harini also, we can see Harini, Hare Krishna. And Rupanuga Prabhu driving somewhere, as he often does, on the way, as long as you're going in the right direction, that's the main thing. And Priya Sundari Devidasi back in Brazil, in her homeland. Don't forget your English while you're back home in Brazil. And Sevarupa Devidasi, always ready to serve, to help others in need. And she was doing that last night, helping a person who's getting ready to leave their body, and she was called to come and do something good. So well done. And to Indulekha Devidasi, always caring too, actually all the devotees always caring too. Indulekha, always giving care, and in the digital world, giving care also. Lavanyamoy right here, and Lavanyamoy. Oh, I thought she came in through the door. So Lavanyamoy Devidasi were given very good certificate by the devotees here. They said, if we have one Lavanyamoy like this in the temple, you'll have a thriving temple. And it is true. So well done, Lavanyamoy. And Priyanana Devidasi, well, where do we begin to say about Priyanana Devidasi? Happy to have you with us indeed. And actually, I was thinking today we should ask you to say something, Priyanana, today. So give you a heads up, because we haven't heard you speak for a while, and you're a regular contributor, regular presence, and always have got something to say, to give us another angle, to encourage us in devotion. And Ganga Leela Didi, always happy to have you with us, and waiting for the day we will meet you too. And Dana K. well, always waiting for the day to meet you and for you to meet the devotees. Gangalila does get to meet with the devotees, but Dana, she's in a remote place and facing difficulties in the world, but do try to keep contact with the devotees. And once you meet our family, somehow I think you'll be very happy. We had here just...
Wait, me too.
Hare Krishna, Dana. And we have here, today is the last full day. Well, maybe tomorrow will be the last full day too, depending on whether, anyway, how he can get to the airport by 4 o'clock in the morning. We have Jaya Day Prabhu from Salt Lake City. And it's his first time to meet anybody here. And he was very happy to come. And he said, oh, I've come, and instantly we just feel like we've known everyone forever. So instantly within the family, and also us to him. So this is the nature of family. We know when we are together. And Jai Gauranga Prabhu just joined us too, from North Australia, even though that Mahaprabhu, tall Mahaprabhu, is there in his thumbnail. He's holding the temple, holding the ashram in Thailand, while Priya Sundari Devi Rasi is away. Leela Moy Prabhu is away. But I think that Paramanand Prabhu returned. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Nodding head. Yes, yes. All right. And we do have Shyama Priya with us in person. She's the one who came in through the door, and just coming through the door very quietly is Rasa Rati Devi Rasi. It always keeps a very humble profile, but she's very capable to speak and to preach and to cook and to do so many services around the temple. So she was one of our key speakers, key preachers, when we are people reaching on our pilgrimage recently, especially on the way to Lekko. Okay, so this is little introduction. Today we're happy to meet you all, and on Facebook. Yes, okay. No, we're on Facebook. Okay, it's all right. So we're on Facebook, and we'll try to arrange so I can see Facebook as well. Maybe when Priyanana Devi Rasi says a few words to start us today, would you like to share something? Are you free to share something, Priyanana?
Dandavats, yes, I'm free.
Хорошо.
Sure. Well, from recent things, I can share that I've just spent a couple of weeks in Moscow, and I went there to meet my mom, but also I got an opportunity to visit Kiselny temple. And actually, I was very inspired by association there. There was Mokanchor Prabhu and other devotees, and I've got some new, so to say, insights. And one of the questions that I asked, it was about doing kirtan and how not to be carried away by trying to make it, to put it in a nice form, but like losing the substance at the same time. When you think how to sing everything correctly or like beautifully, but forgetting what you're singing about. And Mahārāj Prabhu said that because they deal with the sound and the vibrations a lot due to their service, he said he had the same problem at the beginning, but basically the answer was like, first when you're learning as a service, like the right tune and so on, yes, you might pay much attention, but afterwards you just, how to say, you're just getting back, and at some point the meaning, like as we always say, it's a descending process. So at some point, and you do not know when, the upper world might be satisfied, and like you can feel it a bit, and that's actually the purpose, like to satisfy the upper world, right? But you do not know when it will happen. But as you, Mahārāj, said before, we had a similar question about substance vs form, that in our form there is substance.
We lost the last 30 seconds of audio. Did everybody lose the last 30 seconds, or only us? Us. What are you connected to?
Okay, so where do I start?
What are you connected to?
Okay, I guess they reconnect to another Wi-Fi. Yes, so the main thing was actually that you need to learn, yes, how to do it properly, how to do the kirtan properly. But then the substance, the higher substance and meaning and understanding of kirtan can descend to you. Like when you know how to do it right, it's not an option. But if you have some tradition, it's nice to know how to do it correctly, and then it's up to the higher plane, yes, to choose to be satisfied with your mood and to descend. That's like the main point. Yes, and Mahārāj, as I said before, you had similar question, and you said that in our form there is substance. So I remember that it's not like opposite, like substance, vs form, but it's all together. So I mean, somehow I was very inspired by such an answer. Well, that's it. And of course, association, like, I know it's not about changing places, but so to say, I got some fresh air, some new friends, some new perspectives. So I was very happy to visit there. That's it, basically. These are my news for now.
Jai. And for us, kirtan is such an important part of our devotional life. And what we are doing, what we are singing, why we are singing, when we are singing, etc., it's all being given to us from above. We're not inventing our own program. So kirtan is seva also. And there are many ways to see our different aspects of seva. And that temple in Moscow is a very wonderful place for kirtan. It's sort of in the middle of Maya. I mean, it's the center of Moscow, and in very wealthy area, very, anyway, just very wealthy, lots of ego in the streets, etc. And in that area, we've got this more than Indian temple practically. When you go inside, the whole decor is very Indian anyway, just the way it's all made out and decorated. And that's also the credit for the devotees who've made it this way, and the Ravadut Mahārāj who had the vision, and then who couldn't get planning permission to build upwards, so he built downwards. He went down, dug down, and made another floor downstairs, and a big floor downstairs. I mean, and in the middle of very intense, we can say, an intense materialistic area, then we have really an oasis or a refuge where can do kirtan, and they do kirtan. Loud kirtan. They've got those thick Russian walls, which will probably stand for hundreds of years. And Priyananda has shared a file in the meeting. Maybe I'm the controller of this computer. Take a look and see. Oh, look and see. Govinda, Govinda. Okay, well, there are some pictures if you have faster internet than us. Jai.
Yes, and Mahārāj, if I can add, there was one interesting idea also, that sometimes, like, I don't know, when you do not know how to do kirtan properly, maybe, or you do not want to learn, and you think like, oh, my faith and sincerity can compensate for like not knowing, but like something, are you sure that you have such a strong faith and sincerity that can compensate actually for you not learning how to do the things properly. Something like this, like some funny idea. Not to be very sure of yourself. And you know, like, oh, I'm doing from my heart as I can. But like, yeah, it's there. But actually, if you know how to do it properly, why not to learn? Well, it sounds like everything that we learned before just came to me in some new light. That's it.
And we should try, we simply should be honest and clean and just try our best and fit into the current rather than force ourselves in some like special way of singing, etc. Or we hear something in India, or we're going to follow that style. But just to go with the flow of what Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and Srila Saraswati Thakur, after all, has given. And some, they can sing nicely, some maybe can't sing nicely, but everyone can express in their heart the message that's coming through the song. And we are more than 40 years on, and still we are trying to get it right. So, we're all students. And I remember one of the early days, then after the evening arti, Kiba Jaya, Jaya, Gora Chandi, and everybody singing in the temple. And then I asked one of the devotees, because I'm very new, like, what does this song mean? And we didn't have any translation. We just barely had a piece of paper with the Bengali words written on it. And it was early days. And the devotee, who obviously was senior, I don't know how long he'd been there, maybe a few days before me, I'm not sure. But when we come in to the temple, everyone's senior. But he didn't know the meaning. And then I'm thinking, well, why are we singing something we don't know the meaning? And still we are trying to remember those meanings and feel them when we sing, because it's also Gurudev's guidance for kirtan. Not just to make sound into the akash, into the sky, but these are all substantial prayers, substantial glorification, etc. And the other day, I'm sure out of 3, there must be at least one witness that when we sat down in the evening, I said, okay, are you all sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. And we read a story. And what was the story? It was the translation of Kiba Jaya, Jaya Gora Chanda, Arati Kushoba. And halfway through, then a couple of devotees, they said, oh, I know what you're reading. But, I mean, really, these are beautiful, stories, what they are. I mean, Leela stories is that evening arti. And of course, and I think a lot of devotees do catch at least some of the verses of the Bhoga Arti song, this Bhajabhakkata Vatsala Shri Gora Hari, because devotees like prasad, don't they? So it's the story of the prasadam coming to be distributed to Krishna and the devotees. And this is boy Krishna. Well, actually, we always worship Krishna as ever youthful and boy, not as an old man with a beard and can hardly walk. Oh dear. But we worship him as boy Krishna. And they're sitting in rows, waiting for them, not waiting, but sitting in rows, and then the prasad's distributed to them. And very happy song, what kinds of prasad were distributed to them. So many of these songs, all these songs have a purpose, not just some sound. But we're practicing. We are in the stage of practicing. And that's why we're all here actually in the back to basics, back to basics. That we can keep practicing, knowing that we mainly need to give our attention to the foundation of our devotional life.
Yes, Mahārāj. And also the signs that you gave us, like try to read the translation as you sing. It's also a very good one, especially when it gets to be automatic. Like it's a very good feature to have. Yeah, because it helps. It helps.
Yes, it does help indeed. And automatic sometimes works, and sometimes the automatic pilot doesn't work perfectly. And my biology teacher, way back when I did go to school, when I was young, the biology teacher was explaining about whatever the terms are, but things we do automatically in our body and things we have to think about to do. And anyhow, I mean, some of the automatic things are, you eat and your food is digested. You're not going through inside your stomach each part of your food and then putting it through a mincing machine and squeezing it through a membrane to get the goodies out of it. I mean, we do lots of things automatically, but he gave an example. And going down the stairs, if you just go downstairs, we all just go downstairs every day, so many times. But if you start thinking what your legs are doing, then you have another challenge when you go downstairs. So sometimes our kirtans are a little like that we can be on autopilot and everything more or less hopefully goes well. But we need to think what we are singing. And then sometimes when we're thinking, things don't go so well also because we start still staying on the previous verse when we come to the next verse. This is my excuse, just in case we mix up the verses sometime. But happily, by the way, happily, and this isn't Gurudev thinking or anything else, but we were following Gurudev here. Well, I suppose a month or so ago now, we were following Srila Gurudev, and he actually missed out a verse. And I actually thought, okay, thank you, Gurudev. gives us a little. Oh, it happens. It happens to the best of the very best of us. So, here we are. Hare Krishna. But, Srila Gurudev is missing out a verse. He's probably completely in the flow, like exactly what he's saying, and he just skipped that little bit. Oh my goodness, we got a long quote here, Seva Rupa Devirasi. I'm wondering, before I look at the quote, I'm wondering what it is she's going to quote concerning what we've been saying now. Seva Rupa, please confess, what have you quoted?
Dandavat pranams, Mahārāj, and to all the devotees. It's just on Priyanana Diri's question. It's something that I found by Śrīla Śrīdhar Mahārāj from Sermons of the Guardian. And it says, Bhajan, real and apparent. So the topic there, or the subheading, is Tangible Death in Divinity by Śrīla Guru Mahārāj.
Okay, so please, you read it with transmission. We are not all going to read it too. We're going to hear you read it. So, Jai Śrīla Guru Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Let us hear his message.
So if it is relevant, but let me do my best. So only a theoretical understanding won't help you much. Try to catch the spirit of the thing. When backed by the sadhu, the guru of very high type, you can do anything. By the grace of his support, whatever kirtan, etc., you may do will be effective. Meditating may have been praised as more efficient in a particular context. But if you venture to superficially try and chant in that way, the opposition will be so great, you'll be nowhere. You will turn to be an atheist. It can happen if you don't have sufficient support to fight against the odds. Don't venture to attack the enemy when your position is weak, but when backed by the great generals and many munitions, you must march on. That will help us to engage in real kirtan. The real factor is sadhu sangha. It has association with a higher power. Otherwise, nothing has any value. The stand must be taken on the real plane, sadhu and shastra. We must cultivate the real thing. That is the all-important factor. Always to keep up the real, is that, okay, something's blocking that word for me, but let me just check if it is real. Okay, the real factor is sadhu sangha. It has association with a higher power. Otherwise, nothing has any value. The stand must be taken on the real plane, sadhu and shastra. We must cultivate the real thing. That is the all-important factor. Always to keep up the reality of the bhajan. For the weaker devotee, the sadhaka or aspirant, the greatest necessity is sadhu sangha, and the scriptures are necessary for knowledge. Sadhu shastra kripa, then kirtan will be best. And then I was busy just copying the last bit, but I can read it for everyone, which says, then Vrindavan Das Thakur says that one feeds himself, another feeds thousands and feeds himself. Who is the greater? Kirtan is to cultivate oneself and help many others to cultivate at the same time. But when you have no capital of your own, if you go to preach, you will meet such opposition, asat sangha, that the ankura, meaning the bud, will be nipped. In that case, if you are kanishta adhikari, neophyte, don't go to attack others without vigorous backing. Kirtan means to preach or to attack others in a sense. Okay, so maybe I'll just finish that paragraph, which says, don't venture as a kanishta adhikari. You'll be turned into an atheist. Only after passing through the proper stages, Shravanadas, Varanadas, Sadhanadas, and Prapanadas, which in brackets then says the phases of hearing, acceptance, practice, and attainment, then you can preach independently, apanadas. Otherwise, only with the help of someone in Prapanadas can you go to preach. And that was the bit that I wanted to share, but Jai Gurudev, I hope that it's relevant.
Very relevant, and every time we always want to hear Guru Maharaj, we always want to hear Gurudev, we always want to hear Srila Prabhupada too. So very perfect, and really a very good beginning. Not only beginning, we're half an hour we've been together already, within a blink of an eye. Very good understanding of our spiritual journey. Our spiritual journey must be under the guidance of the spiritual masters, the spiritual practitioners. From them, we must not think that we are the master, otherwise Krishna can knock us onto our nose. And I don't know, some of you here, in fact, probably many of you here were in the London Zoom on Monday. And at the end of the London Zoom, I think it was Seva Priya also that, Seva Rupadari, that you pointed out that chapter 3 of the Revealed Truth was very relevant to that topic, which was about the master, and I forget the title. Oh, as it was Guru, good as God, good. Which sounds like very extravagant, but Srila Gurudev explaining the context of this, and that whole chapter is very relevant, and it was the chapter I was looking for, but due to time, place, and circumstance, I was a little short of time for finding the quotes, but I did find those two from Srila Guru Mahārāj, which we quoted that day. But I heard, because we can, while doing other things, I listened to that chapter 3, and I thought, yes, here it is, everything in one place, which is very much this matter, that we must do everything substantially. And kirtan is not like we've heard in some places and don't want to hear. We want to cover our ears. A hodgepodge mixture of all sorts of, it sounds cool, names of, God and gods and people and all sorts of things mixed in together. We've heard some very unhappy kind of kirtans. Hence the temples. The temples are the places where we get a standard, where we can learn the standard of our masters and try to share that in the wider world too. Hare Krishna. Well, behind us, I've got 3 people. Who's the 3rd person? Oh, very quiet. How they came in through the door. Kamala Sundari is behind. I thought we were 3, but we have 4. Kamala Sundari is coming through the door. And here also, by the way, it's Vila Govinda, and it was 4 a.m. So it's the 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. slot. And we have Lavanya Moy Devidasi with us too. She was. Yes. Oh, she said, yes, she's in the thumbnail. Oh, she's in the kitchen. Just see the devotees engaging in service. So, look, 4 in the morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devotees. All right. Somebody should give us a prize, don't you think? Give you all a prize. And Harini is with us in person today. Sometimes we have her thumbnail, but she's with us in person in Salt Lake City. And Salt Lake City, Jayadev Prabhu from Salt Lake City is here. He's been very wonderful throughout. Salt Lake City, there's something good in the water is the expression. There's something good in the current, the current of the Vaishnavas in Salt Lake City. Would you like to share anything, Harini Didi, from the western central United States?
Dandavats Mahārāj and all the devotees. I don't know if I have much to share, but I was thinking about the Zoom on the London Zoom on Monday, and Kunku mentioned like Govinda Mahārāj would always say, we must all have tolerance, but it must be with affection. And Vishaka was also talking about that tolerance, but with affection. So I don't know if you want to share anything on that, like how can we practice tolerance, but also tolerance with affection?
Well, I can make a mini comment, and then maybe others would like to make other mini or maxi comments, and that is, we can think of ourselves. We want to receive both tolerance of others, and we want to receive their affection. We don't want to only be tolerated. Oh, here comes Mahananda, we better be good for the next 10 minutes until he goes away. No, we don't. We don't want to be only tolerated, but actually we're thinking, especially from the senior section, that that our gurus or the senior devotee, they tolerate us. Oh no, I mean, just that's not so happy. But if they tolerate with affection, means that's got another mood to it. It's not just they're tolerating us, but they've got affection for us. And so what is the tolerance? It is that they're kind of overlooking those things which may irritate others or whatever it may be, that there's still some bad habits, still this, still that. They still haven't learned that shloka after 45 years. I mean, so many things, but with affection. So we want to receive affection and tolerance of that kind from others. So we naturally should do unto others as we have done to ourselves. So we naturally want to extend that same kind of mood to others. So if we think of ourselves and how we really have had the tolerance and affection and have the tolerance and affection of others, then we should extend that to everyone, to newcomers, to to all that we will not only tolerate, but tolerate with affection. So this is a little thought from myself. Where's Paramananda Prabhu? Oh, not here. But Shyama Priya is here behind me, probably hiding, because very difficult to get the devotees to sit within the camera view. But she's unfortunately, oh no, you're not going today. No, no, okay, we won't ask her anything. She's not going today. Yeah. Oh, who's going? I think actually is Lavanya Mohin. Yeah. So I was going to give a chance to someone who's leading from here today. Anyway, we're very happy you're not going today, Shyama Priya. Would you like to say something? Because we don't want to say, oh, then don't say anything if you're not going today.
My thoughts on maybe this topic or more general, it's my meditation on the lecture of Śrīla Kariri. She always put on the position when we don't see the world properly, and we should see the Lord's hand in everything that's happening. And for me, I describe that way, that it's like we looking through the kaleidoscope of our karma and previous understanding of the world. We're looking through this kaleidoscope of weird puzzles, and we're looking into reality. But our gurus look straight, like to the real world, and he guides us, not looking through our perceptions. So I think that we when we try to give affection and tolerance, we try to think from the perspective, not our ego, but from the reality perspective. And we could understand that other people also could have some kind of kaleidoscope with their circumstances. They might be angry because of some personal situation and something, but deep inside we also have Atma that really wants to be sincere. And when we see that everyone wants to be sincere, but maybe in some circumstances they couldn't show, they have just some pain inside, and that's why things goes like not good way. Maybe then we will give more tolerance and more affection, like feeling that might be this person in some circumstances and somehow he acts this way, but inside I believe that everyone wants to be like good to others. It's not easy to be tolerant, but we all trying, and remembering that not only myself want to be good, maybe everyone want to be good, but it's not easy. So just keep trying and give more love. And Ratnavali from London, she was sharing that she had not good relationships with one of the devotees, and it was a situation when their relationships changed to opposite direction immediately, when it was moment and that devotee showed like his weakness, and he was upset about something, and Ratnavali already like was some arguing with him, but immediately she understood that might be she could help him, and everything changed. Like when you still ready to be open to help, and everything will change, and their relationships like grow up really quickly, and everything being harmonized only by the act when you don't want to fight anymore. You want to like give the love, and love grows like from the both sides after that. So it's my short contribution, or maybe not short.
Max.
Max contribution.
Okay. I'm sure that she wasn't referring to any devotees here. I think that was a London thing. Hare Krishna. I mean, really, what's this word anger? By the grace of the Lord, we're in a society of devotees, who aren't angry, aren't this, aren't that. And sometimes, we get some challenges along the way with the differences of personalities of devotees, maybe, but Krishna's graced us in Bila Govinda and on Back to Basics, and where we go, he's graced us with sweet-hearted devotees infected by Gurudev's affectionate tolerance for each other. And that was a good point, Harini, that this expression of Srila Gurudev, we must tolerate with affection. Hare Krishna. But we then shouldn't even be thinking we're tolerating. I mean, really, we're just happy to be with devotees, and everyone's got something different. But that's about devotees. But the world, we have to also tolerate the world and not get stuck on the fact that they're doing this, they're doing that. Or whoever is they, in the material world also, they are out to make money. And so when they're out to make money, they're going to be exploiting everything and exploiting successfully. That you get much praise and big cars and big houses for doing that. So, we can't, we must tolerate the world we're in, and about the world we're in and all the things which are apparently wrong and can take our energy away. Let's just put it all in one big box that says, it's Kali Yuga. Great. We've got the Maha Mantra. And let's not try to do this. I mean, I was going to say, I don't want to say, let's not try to save the penguin, save the whale, save the, the this and that and the other. And we saw on our pilgrimage, we were on a pilgrimage, I think all of you know, to places of Gurudev's pastimes. And we saw various things there and many lessons, devotional lessons to learn. One of them was we came across a place, we're going through the forest, up the hill. We think we're in the middle of nowhere. And then we hear some sounds of like domestic animals. We go, what are cockerels and chickens doing up here in the mountains? And then we came out through the forest on this little path that we were on. And then there was a very funky looking goat. The goat looked quite handsome, but I was thinking of the house and the whole area. There was a fenced off area in a clearing in the forest, and with the signboards outside, it was save the donkeys, which is a nice thing to do. Donkeys are wonderful things, but it was save the donkeys, and they had also goats there and geese and chickens. And the chickens, I'm not sure they were saving the chickens. They were saving them for breakfast, I expect. I mean, it's all partial. So how did we get to, yes, so the main thing is in Kali Yuga, we can't divert our energy to save this, save that, save the other. We need to divert, to keep our energy as much as possible. But actually this word kirtan, the kirtan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which is to spread the holy names around, to chant and to spread, to practice and to distribute. So this is the main thing. And if we put our food to the stomach, everything is nourished. And if we can get as much as possible the attention of the world to the holy name, and then all the other wrongs will be righted. But it's Kali Yuga. And one of the nature of Kali Yuga is it is an ocean of wrongs. So we can't suddenly expect it to be all right, but the right part is this chanting of the holy names individually, as Mahaprabhu says, chant your japa and chant always the holy name of the Lord. And Haridas Thakur saying that to chant aloud is 100 times more powerful than chanting alone, because we're benefiting others. And Kirtan, we were telling the trees, and we were telling the trees while on our pilgrimage, and all sorts of things. We're trying to do as we have heard, and we were remembering Manu with tears flowing down his eyes, Guru Maharaj saying that Manu, the giver of the law book of the world, if you like, the Manu Samhita. Then Guru Maharaj saying when he was a student and reading in Manu Samhita where he's describing the trees, he felt as if Manu had tears rolling down his cheeks while he's saying, and the trees, due to their own karma, they have taken this birth. They have senses like us. They have willing, feeling, and thinking. But they are trapped in a tree body for decades and centuries like this. And so we explained some of this to some of the trees, and we chanted Hare Krishna, many things. But we can't save the trees, or can't save this tree, that tree. We can't save the donkeys or the geese or the chickens. We need to distribute the opposite instead of little bit by little bit. The central part, Krishna is missing. The only famine in this world is Krishna Katha. Means not Krishna is missing, but the consciousness of Krishna is missing. So here we are trying to do just that. Hare Krishna. And the trees have to be tolerant. And people who are also doing the preserving of the trees, hammering the nail into the tree with a notice that says, I am this tree, I am very rare. And then hammering the notice into the tree with a nail, big nail. We think, so where's the thought? Where is the thinking? We love our trees. Let's hammer a nail into it. Hare Krishna. And the tree stands there, cannot protest. And maybe here we did share. We went to one of these public Orient Day programs maybe 3 weeks ago, 3 weekends ago. And there was one stall where they had a plant which sang, showing how when you give affection and touch the leaves of the plant and talk to the plant, it responds with something. Now they say it's singing because they connect those electrodes up, and then they got a little thing which transforms the change of the electric current, whatever it is, transforms it into music. But then we think, is it singing or is it afraid they're going to be cut? I mean, we don't know necessarily from an electrode point of view, but you could see, and it was quite, impressive. We already know it happens, but we like a bit of science to back us up. So we saw there how the plants have life, but it's already known that plants have life. And then those with green fingers or green thumbs, whatever, different expression in different parts of the world, they know if you talk to the plants, you look after them nicely, everything, they flourish much more than if you just throw them in the ground and then throw lots of chemicals over them, stuff like that. Hare Krishna. How did we get to talk about that? Oh, yes. Tolerate with affection. Hare Krishna. Who would like to make a contribution? Maheshwari Didi, would you like to make a contribution? You're back home? Are you back home? Yes, okay.
Yes. Dandavats Mahārāj and all devotees. Yes, I'm back home. I had a lovely time at the Seva Ashram. Got to do some sewing in Swarnangi's beautiful sewing room. Very lovely. As far as a contribution, I was reading in the Golden Volcano about chanting Hare Krishna and the importance of the vibration of it, and how, you know, that is that vibration that carries us. Oh,
No, we're all good.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought something was frozen.
No,
Anyway,
we've heard everything perfectly, and good.
okay, good. Yes. Yeah. And I was really struck by that passage, because for many years I've studied sound in various ways as a healing modality. And when I read that statement in the book, it just was like, oh, it's so simple. You know, we just have to chant, and it puts everything into perspective. You know, I find as I'm chanting, I do have more tolerance, and I do have more affection. And I'm also just able to remember that Krishna is guiding us and is infused through everything, in everything. So that really helps me to maintain tolerance and affection.
And as you've been studying sound and healing through sound, now this is the quantum jump to say, actually, the sound is the Lord's name. That's going to do everything.
Right. Yep. And I do feel like those studies led me here, and that this is kind of the culmination. So I'm very grateful to be here.
And Krishna has brought each of us in our own different ways, and everyone's life is actually amazing when we look at it, because everyone's life, when we ask, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? Then it is, you know, individually arranged journey by the Lord to bring us from wherever we are, our current position, into the channel of Krishna consciousness. And we are reading, as you know, every morning we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Mahaprabhu is in South India and in our current readings, and there he was asked by a devotee, I better not get the name wrong, so about his former life, Purva Ashram. You know, where have you come from? Where were you born? What did you do? Like that. But I thought that was interesting, that he was being asked about his former life, just like we often ask the devotees. Oh yes, what do you do? What did you do? Where do you come from? And those of us who go to India, and when we're obviously not an Indian-bodied person, that's like one of the most common questions, like anywhere. Oh, where do you come from? You know, like then we start getting a bit bored answering the same question. So we say, oh, from my mother. And you? But that's like a cheeky answer. It's not really the best way to start a conversation to warm somebody up. But it is interesting, like where do we come from? Not necessarily physically, but in this conscious world, and how have we come to Krishna consciousness? And by the way, Seva-Rupa, she's put in a little message here, and I did slightly allude to this earlier today. She's always helping people. Actually, all the devotees are always helping people. And I'll read her message. She says, dearest devotees, please accept my obeisances, and may I ask for your well wishes for a soul that is leaving her body. Her name is Krishnavani, Jugnarayan. So Krishnavani and Jugnarayan, presumably is the second name maybe. Anyhow, her name is Krishnavani. And this is the lady you were seeing yesterday evening, is it? So she was, well, she can say herself, she was called to come to give some assistance for a dying person. Maybe you'd like to just give a little first-hand information, Sevarupa? We can't hear you. Oh, you're not speaking. Okay.
Yes, thanks, Mahārāj. So I didn't, it's the first time I met the family and the lady who's, she's 88. And from what I hear from her family, she's also been very, well, they said spiritual, but we know spiritual has different levels, but she's also been very pious and always helpful to everyone. So she's actually in a condition where she's on morphine and she has cancer. I think she's had that for 5 years or so, but she's not responsive. Well, when I was there, and I think her daughter said that her vocal cords were also severed during a surgery, but she's not eating or drinking anything. So they just kind of wanting her to pass on peacefully. But they were very, like you mentioned, also about faith. And they were forthcoming in allowing me to chant, which was wonderful. And they also were welcoming that I asked, could I read something from the Bhagavad Gita and wherever I'm reading from, and they were welcoming to that as well. So, and I did say, I've also left some pamphlets, some flyers from the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. I think you saw those ones when you had come. So I left that to them and my details. And I also said, gave an introduction to my Gurudev and said, if they need anything, I can, I am available. So yeah, it was it was also, you never know who you meeting and who's who in the world. But yeah, I think they're just looking for their mom to pass on peacefully. So that's some shares from last night.
And again, first-hand experience when we see people who are leaving their body, about to leave their body, just left their body, then it's a direct reminder that actually we are living in a world where this happens to everyone. And something's going to get us in the end. I mean, we are not going to find a cure for everything and then live happily ever after. In this mundane plane, it's just the nature of the land that we are in. And as Srila Guru Maharaj says at the beginning of Search for Sri Krishna, let us face this real problem. And the scientists, you claim you are very important people, you demand the respect of the world, but you're not facing the greatest danger. You're cheating the people by ignoring the greatest danger. And instead of that, you're increasing exploitation, which is inviting a lower life. This is no answer. If you're not going to address the proper problem, then leave, go away, leave it to us. We shall prove that the world is a place of joy. Hare Krishna. And Preetu Prabhu joined us at the very last moment. Your clocks in St. Petersburg must be going very slowly. Hare Krishna. But it is the very last moment. And here in Vila Govindam, It's a sad time after so many devotees, surprisingly, so many devotees came together from various places around and about. And now we're in the time when day by day, 2 devotees going, 3 devotees going, 1 devotee is going each day. So this is where we are, not going from the world, but going from our little world of Vila Govinda Ashram here, going to their homes, but keeping in touch from the other side of the aeroplane flight. But we are in a temporary world and we all need good association. So may we continue to have good association. And kirtan means not just a single glorification of the Lord, not just a single chanting, but congregational with full quantity and full quality. So let us do our best for both as much as we can through the connection of heart, seva, and the good wishes of others. And so today, some duty for you all to give some Vaishnava good wishes to this lady Krishnavami who's leaving her body. And she's got an auspicious name, fully devotional name, Krishnavami. All right, dear devotees, we'll leave Nadia Priya Devirasi also in the kitchen, and Lavanya Moyi Devirasi here in the kitchen. We'll leave. Oh, and also Jai Gauranga Prabhu in the kitchen, you see, it's a kitchen religion. Some are making breakfast. Oh, well, yes, this side, all are making breakfast. Nadia Priya must be making breakfast too, but Jai Gauranga Prabhu making lunch, presumably. Or is it evening meal?
Garlands.
Oh, doing garlands. Oh, okay. Doing garlands with an apron. So maybe you're doing garlands and cooking. It's all good, yes. Protect your nice white cloth. And marigolds, even though they're orange, they make a dark stain on cloth. We are aware. All right, so dear devotees, please do chant Hare Krishna, be happy. And if you wish, I mean, if you can copy out the quotes that Sevarupa Devirasi put in from Śrīla Guru Mahārāj in the chat box here. We'll also, yes, Leela Moy Prabhu is busily copying out the quote too, so we've got it to savor later on. And these pictures of Priyanana put there. I mentioned to you how that Moscow temple, it is more Indian than in India in many ways. And so is the Tomsk ashram in the middle of Siberia, in the middle of Moscow, in the middle of Siberia. 2 wonderful temples. And St. Petersburg temple, more Indian than India. And certainly, like Vaishnava India, how we can say, I'm not sure more Indian than India is the right expression, but again, I mean, it's so favorable for the practicing of Krishna consciousness. So I'm very happy to see the photos here. Maybe next week Preetu Prabhu will put some photos, share some photos of St. Petersburg, because I know some new elephants arrived. Maybe now they're a couple of years old, I'm not sure, but they have some new elephant designs that they were making before in the temple. Jai Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Sunda Govinda, Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣak Śrīdhar, Dev-Goswāmī Mahārāj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Nama Acharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. And Jai to all the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mata Navadip ki Jai. And Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mata, all worldwide affiliated centers and devotees ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Vinam.
Jai Śrīla Bhakti Mahārāj ki Jai.
Good to see you all. Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj, Jai Gurudev, Jai Guru Maharaj. And this week, We can't, unfortunately, we can't hear from everyone every week, but we are hearing from you by seeing you. We can hear the voices of you all too. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.